Welling into the 90s, but it looks like some temporary relief may be on the way. Let's check back in with CBS42 Storm Team Meteorologist Jacob Woods. Jacob, what are our chances for rain next week?
Yeah, you said it. That's going to be the ways that we find relief from this heat and the really oppressive humidity that we're not really feeling this weekend, but it is going to be back in full force once we get into the start and eventually middle of next week. That eventually brings back those afternoon downpours that are pretty widespread in coverage and have been fairly hit and miss, at least for today, and the same going for tomorrow and Monday. But Tuesday onward, we're talking about much higher coverage. You'll want to have the umbrella handy, especially starting Tuesday going into the rest of next week. And it is thanks to this more July type of humidity, and temperatures are going to be holding in the lower 90s, eventually getting into the upper 80s and near seasonal values. Check out the bird just flying by here from our Coleman camera. We're looking at it live here, and it looks gorgeous here on the horizon. 90 degrees, hardly even a cloud to spot in the sky. And that dew point, it's on the muggy side, sitting at 70 degrees right now. It's 90 in Alabaster, same for Brent, 89 in T-Town, 92 in Mountville, and just outside of Tuscaloosa, we're watching a couple of these downpours working along Highway 82, pushing off towards the west, and that's actually the opposite direction. Typically, showers and storms moving from west to east. These are all pushing towards the west, so if you live in Gordo, Reform, Carrollton, off in Pickens County, maybe even Aliceville, want to look off towards your east to see some of these darker skies, could end up seeing a quick downpour and maybe a rumble of thunder. A few more downpours, one along Highway 231 here just north of Childersburg, between there and Harpersville, another one here just north of Talladega, right around Howells Cove. So that's really all we're watching on the radar this evening. More spots than not are going to stay hot and dry, so if you're going to be on the lake this evening, it looks good. Temperature is going to be falling here through the 80s as we hold on to that sunlight, eventually going to be falling into the 70s. We talked about how, yes, it is on the humid side, but it's not too terribly uncomfortable compared to those oppressive humidity levels that we're normally used to seeing, 75, 76, 77. But notice we have just a little tongue of drier air kind of moving in over eastern Alabama and off towards our east. Dew point of 58 in Charlotte, North Carolina, 58 in Atlanta. There is a little bit of downsloping action occurring on the back side of this tropical storm, Chantal, that is formed just off the coast of the Carolinas there, and that's bringing in winds out of the north and east, and that is going to be keeping our skies for the most part pretty sunny over the next few days. But let's talk about exactly where this thing is going. It is the first system that we're seeing here in the summer that's going to be making landfall in the United States. It is a tropical storm at the moment. You can tell it is trying to get its act together and develop an eye, but it's just not going to have enough time. It is forecast to strengthen just ever so slightly overnight and make landfall just to the east of Charleston, South Carolina, as we go into early tomorrow morning, and then it eventually just becomes an overglorified area of low pressure. But we're going to be dry here, no impacts for that, and no impacts on our beaches here in Alabama. Low rip current risk and pretty typical July weather with temperatures shy of 90 and those daily afternoon showers and storms. Our rain chances ramping up as we go into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week, up to around a 60% chance by Thursday, as this deeper moisture, the more tropical-like humidity, is going to be building back into central Alabama. So it is about to feel more like it should here in the deep south for July standards, but dry for most of tomorrow and Monday, and then the umbrella needs to be ready as we go into the middle and end of next week. Stay with us. We'll be back with more after this.